been a hugely important week, as you know, for hundreds of former sub-postmasters who were falsely accused of theft and false accounting because of the flawed Post Office IT system.
Now, not only did they hear 3 days of evidence from the former Post Office boss, Paula Venables, but this is really significant. An Act of Parliament officially quashed all those convicted in England, Wales and Northern Ireland.
Now, one of them was Keith Bell. He ran a sub-post office in Stockton-on-Tees, prosecuted for false accounting in 2002. And as you can see, Keith is here, and thank you for getting up bright and early to come and see us. Obvious question, how do you feel? You knew all along you'd done nothing wrong, but now officially your conviction is quashed.
Late last week. Well, first it was a bit confusing because with the election being announced, we weren't sure what would happen. Luckily, our solicitors, Hudgell, are brilliant. They keep us right up to date with what's happening. So we knew that the legislation was going to be pushed through Parliament, and then it doesn't really become a law till it gets royal assent. And that happened Thursday, I think, and I still really didn't believe it. And it wasn't until I was watching breakfast television for Friday morning, then I heard confirmation then, and I felt strange.
You felt different?
Absolutely felt different. Couldn't explain why. You know,
Have you had a moment to kind of fully take it in and I don't know, do you feel like celebrating, or is it just a sense of
just
relief?
Yeah, you can hold your head up. For 20 years now, you've had the stigma of what went on, and that will always be part of your life. It's there, and in some ways, it'll still be part of your life going forward. But the conviction's gone. Friends that have always been great and family, they know now. Well, they never questioned me, but they know now. So,
what about the people who did question you? We've heard some terrible stories about the abuse that people wrongly suffered. I mean, what was your situation?
I never got that. Where I live was a short distance away from my post office. But my post office customers, even that I've come across, I never had any conflict. I never had any problems. And in my private life and my social life, friends were brilliant.
But you say you never had any problems, Keith, but the conviction did hang over you. It had an impact on your life. It meant that you couldn't go out and get work after training.
As I've said before, one of the things I needed to find work, and I trained and qualified as a driving instructor. I'd worked for BSM for about a year. And then the DVLA found that I had a conviction and removed my instructor's licence. So you go back to square one again. Finding work again, it's low paid, minimum wages, and you just have to battle through it. Yeah? I was lucky in some ways. Some people weren't as lucky as I was.
And will the compensation, when it eventually comes, will that compensate you for that?
At my age and my position, I'll be fine. Yeah? But for a lot of people, it will not cover, you know. I mean, I'm not even going into the fact that I lost property and belongings and that side of it. But if I was 20 years younger and lived in the south of England, you probably wouldn't even buy me a house.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, it's different for everyone.
Keith, just very briefly, the other big news, of course, has been Paula Venables' testimony this week. What's that been like for you to watch? Well,
I've obviously watched the inquiry every day, and I was looking forward to hearing it. I hope she would take the opportunity to sort of come clean and accept and take responsibility and hold her hands up. Yeah.
But you feel that hasn't come out yet?
Well, at that point, I did have sort of some feelings of sympathy towards her. But then as she answered the questions, and the facts had been put in front of her.
We're going to have to leave it there, Keith.
I'm so sorry.
It's an absolute pleasure to
really
see you, and I'm so delighted for you and for your family and everyone who supported you as well.
I've had fantastic support.
Thank you.
And everybody, like yourselves and me, have always been so kind.
Thank you.
It's good.
Thank you for coming in.
Stay
put there a sec.
sorry.
That's all right. We're going to say goodbye to you here on BBC One. Follow us over. We're on BBC Two.